if you think about this young man, over his lifetime, he's done more good than bad, in my view. You know, I know the book was bad, but, you know, I've seen him with these kids in Lesotho, you know, that have lost their families to HIV and helping them and dressing like them and getting involved with them and taking his brother out to see them and starting a night school for them. Things that really mattered to him, you know.
Although that charity did, you know, that's
well,
not well.
Good
point.
Well, that's a good point. But the point is, I saw what he was doing there. I went there a couple of times with him, and I was really impressed, you know. And I asked him, I said, Harry, is this important? It's the most important thing I've ever done, he said. And he was full of it. And so, you know, I think
his heart is in the right place with a lot of these issues.
Look, I think he's still got a lot to offer, certainly for young people, whether he does it here or where, but, you know, he does, he will do. The problem is Meghan, you know, she's the one that's, I think, going to be the problem bringing her back here, you know. I mean, I kind of worry about that.
Never going to happen again, is it?
Rifts in families are terrible, you know, and this is a bad one. Whether Meghan could come and to the palace yet, I don't think so. And whether William and his brother get together, I think that's a long way off. But his father, and of course his father is, you know, is battling cancer, living with cancer, and Harry's concerned about that. Obviously, he thinks about it a lot.
No, it's hard to forget sometimes after the week that we've just had is that Prince Harry isn't a working royal, OK? But the Prince and Princess of Wales, Catherine and William, are. And they are out in force. We had them at the rugby at the weekend, supporting their patronages. They both support England, the patron of the England and Wales. Yeah. And they've been everywhere. They went to the Women's Institute on Monday on the anniversary of the Queen Elizabeth II's passing. Yeah. William was supporting his homelessness project, a mental health hub in Cardiff, and then Catherine was back out at the supporting the UK textiles industry. What was your guys' highlight of William and Catherine's week?
I think mine probably was the textiles. I thought those pictures were great. I thought that story was fantastic. Catherine looked completely in her element. I mean, obviously, still harking back to Harry, it was very poignant that the two brothers were 8 miles apart on the anniversary of the late Queen's death, and you know, only 8 miles apart, and yet it could have been 800 miles as far as you know, their problems go. So that was a sort of a bit of a sad reminder. But yes, I mean, they were flying the flag properly and working very hard.
After this is your picture, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah. Well, that was yesterday. That was at in Sudbury, a mill there, and I mean, this woman, you've got to give it to her. You know, she's come through cancer, and she puts everything into these engagements. You know, everybody she cares about. She seems to make them like focus on looking at them and making them feel the most important person in the world. And she smiles and laughs and she's got, you know, she just gives everything. And then, you know, the job overran by half an hour, but even then she still rushed up the hill to see some school children and be lovely with them and squat down to their level and chat to them, and I just think it's so impressive. And
Arthur, when you see her sort of up close and personal like that, compared to how she was before her cancer, does she look to you? I mean, obviously looks can be deceiving, but does she look healthy?
She looks thinner, I think. But then, you know, but you know, when she wears clothes, she looks like a supermodel.
Of course,
she looks it's fantastic. And of course she's, you know, her hair just changed a bit colour, but, you know, I think that's exciting. But, you know, she always, whatever she does with great enthusiasm and I just impresses me, you know, and she impressed me yesterday, you know, the time she spent with these operators and then when they were printing the fabrics, you know, the noise and everything, and, you know, she just chatted to every, you know, the workman that was showing her how to work the machines and everything. She just engages and she asks them questions. When did you start? How did you get into this job? And people feel important and she makes them that. And I think she's an absolute star. And I can see why she's number one in the royal approval list, because
this photo you took of her, it's lovely, but also you spotted the necklace.
Well, yeah, George,
Charlotte, Louis.
Charlotte and Louis, yeah, and really nice that. Yeah.
It's really sweet. And of course, that's a Prince of Wales check.
Is it really?
Yeah, that is a Prince of Wales check. So that's Giving a little nod to her husband.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
No, she looks fantastic.
Nice, yeah.
And then she did that thing that I saw that sort of the internet went mad about, where she took her jacket off to put an apron on,
right.
rolling her sleeves up, and then she managed to sort of put her hair up into a bun without any sort of implements at all.
Which me and Arthur wouldn't understand. Is that a difficult?
That's a very, very difficult thing. People were saying, please, can you slow down the shot so I can work out how on earth she did that? How did she did that? It looked so perfect. It looked like a hairdresser had done it. So yes, that was.
Well, talking of hair, we're very confused about what colour Catherine is sporting these days. Because I saw her last week at the Natural History Museum. I was there, and immediately she turned up. I thought, oh, it looks a little bit blonde, but now we're going a little bit darker. What's happening with her hair? Please tell us.
Well, so there were lots of ridiculous, you know how these conspiracy theories, people saying, oh, she's wearing a wig because her hair is changing colour sort of by the day. You said you saw her in person. I think some of the photographs, it looked lighter than it actually was because of the lighting and the sun and whatever. But yeah, I think she has had some subtle highlights in her hair.
Well, we're told she never wears extensions. Okay, and it definitely wasn't a wig, by the way. There was just one bad picture where her hair looked a little bit bouffant. That wasn't representative of the whole trip. We're told she doesn't wear hair extensions, and she often does have lighter hair in September. But at least she keeps us on our toes.
Yeah. It
Never
could
boring.
just be sun-kissed from summer holidays.
Yeah.
She's got great teeth as well.
She has.
She's a bad-looking girl, actually, Matt, is she?
So we all agree Harry's had a good week, Catherine's had a good week. What about William? William's been doing some nitty-gritty. He's doing some tough stuff. He's been paying attention to his homelessness project, which he's opened up a building in South London, a Duchy of Cornwall building, where where people at risk of rough sleeping can now stay. And he was opening up a hub in Cardiff, a mental health hub on World Suicide Prevention Day. He's really got stuck in this week while everybody else has maybe been capturing the headlines, Arthur.
Yeah, well, his brother's been dominating the agenda this week. Look, William is just an incredible man, and one day he's going to be our king, and I think he's perfect for that job. But he's got to go to Wales because he's the Prince of Wales, and they go quite a lot. And of course, he's passionate about the things he's interested in, and mental health is one of them. And he just gets involved, and of course he loves his football, and he'll and you see him letting his hair down at football. I've never seen a member of the royal family do that before. He's different with him. He dresses casually when he goes on jobs, and he's going to be a different sort of king. But we're seeing him now doing the work that he's been doing for years. But for me, he's been totally overshadowed by his brother this week.
Well, I think it's really symbolic that William just did lots of engagements. They didn't go under the radar, but they weren't like as sexy and as exciting as others, because that's what he does every week of the year, whereas Harry comes in, grabs all the headlines for a week, and he won't be back again for another year.
Yeah, well...